Is that popping and fizzing the sound of this stock going flat? After earnings, Constellation Brands is still keeping their spirits up. But can the company claw their way back into the hearts of home gamers?
Look at Constellation Brands, the stock roar. This beer and wine powerhouse, best known for Corona and Modelo, have been written off and left for dead by many investors recently, thanks to fears of slowing beer sales and a potential overpay for its marijuana business. In 2018, Constellation pumped $4 billion into Canopy growth. That's a big Canadian cannabis play. But over the course of last year, the whole weed cohort got whacked. This morning, though, Constellation reminded us that marijuana is just a sideline for them when they reported a spectacular quarter, and they continue to be bullish on weed. The company posted a gigantic 30-cent earnings beat off a $1.84 basis, and their sales came in substantially higher than anticipated, thanks to incredible strength in the beer business and better than feared numbers in wine and spirits. On top of that, management raised their full-year earnings forecast. No wonder the stock folded nearly $7 to 3.6% today. So could 2020 be a terrific rebound year for these guys? Let's check in with Bill Newlands. He's the president and CEO of Constellation Brands. Get a better read on the quarter and where the company's headed. Mr. Newlands, welcome back to Mad Money.
Thanks. Good to be here.
Hey, Bill, your quarter was really incredible. And what I think people seem to misjudge is that, as you said, you're just beginning kind of to scratch the surface in sales at Modelo. Why do people not understand that this is the only real growth in the beer category?
Well, Modelo, Jim, is not a one-hit wonder. You know, when we think about the last decade, you came out of 2009 at roughly 35 million cases. Last year, we did 140 million cases. It's the number 4 beer brand in the entire beer category, and it's got tremendous upside. We're just beginning to tap into the general market opportunity around that brand. So even though it's been fantastic and has had 31 consecutive years of double-digit growth, we think the sky's the limit.
You know, I have to compliment you. I don't want to bury the lead here, but how have people done if they've owned your stock for the last 10 years?
Well, 10 years ago, coming out literally of December 31st, 2009, the stock was just over 15. Coming out of 2019, it was 190. So people would have made 1,000% over a decade. And as we always say, we think there's a long way to go.
Now, you're doing some exciting things. Hard seltzer is the thing is taking the brand. This is taking the whole market by storm. You said today that you're going to be offering a couple of flavors, and you don't expect it to take share from your own beer, only the domestic beers. How's that going to work?
Well, the betterment category is one that the Seltzer group is really appealing to. And, you know, there's nothing better when it relates to refreshment than Corona. So our belief is our Corona hard seltzer is going to be a really important player in this market. The market was almost 60 million cases last year, and certainly it looks like it could easily double in 2020, and we're going to get a significant share of that market.
But at the same time, you do have to spend more to be in there, correct?
We do. We're prepared to have one of the biggest introduction spends that we've ever had against a single brand. But recognize we're spending it against a franchise, and that's Corona. So we're quite confident that we will get a significant share of this business, and we can't wait for March 1 to roll around.
Well, I know it's popular, particularly with the millennials. Now, let's talk about what David Klein's up to. He's going over to Canopy. You stuck by Canopy today. There are some people who fear that maybe you overpaid, kind of like what happened with Ballast Point, where you admit yourself $1 billion didn't work out. Can you reassure us that you didn't overpay and that the prospects are bright for Canopy?
Well, as you know as well as anyone, anytime you have a startup industry, there's spits and spurts attached to it. What we're excited about is Canopy remains the share leader in Canada and the largest seller of cannabis around the world. Now we're putting in place a person that you've acknowledged yourself is a great seasoned executive who will bring discipline and focus to the leadership of that business. So we remain very bullish about it. Admittedly, there will be times when we get spits and spurts in the cannabis business, but we think the long-term play around that will be quite healthy.
Well, Bill, there's a lot of money in right now in the corporate structure of Canopy. You've got a kind of hard-to-understand Warren situation. If we were to legalize in the United States, would you be able to buy all of Canopy and take full opportunity for all the money that you put in it that's left?
Well, we don't have any plans to do anything to put more money into Canopy at this point. We obviously have warrant opportunities, and if those are in the money, we would certainly plan to exercise those. But we're quite satisfied with where we are with our position, owning roughly 37% of the company. But we're anxious to see what happens in the United States. As you know, we've introduced the First and Free brand, which is a CBD-based brand here in the United States that you can get through the direct website. So there's going to be a lot of opportunities going forward in the U.S. whenever that is legally available to us.
You've got to be happy about the way that it looks like the new NAFTA is working out. Not that you would be expected to be making Mexican beer in Michigan, but the whole tariff situation is coming together pretty well for you, right?
Well, it has. And we expected, as we've talked before, that the tariff situation didn't make a lot of sense as it related to Mexico and the United States. We're very tight trading partners. And in fact, the tariff issue has not been related to us in the least. And we're pleased about that. We're just focused on making sure we're going to continue to bring great beer to the American public with our Modelo and Corona brands in particular. Although Pacifico is a good option, too.
No, we sell a lot of Pacifico. We can't
get
the Especial. We're waiting to get the Especial at my place. Bill, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's great to see you.
Good to see you, too.
That's Bill Newlands, President and CEO of Constellation Brands, STZ. People, this is the only beer company that has any growth to it. Mad Money's back after the break. Booyah! Jim Cramer here from Mad Money. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube. Click here to subscribe and get the jump on my exclusives with CEOs, plus market news, investing advice, and a whole lot more.